the border. We're excited to have the opportunity to talk with Fall River Mayor Jasiel Correia, who is coming in to talk with us. We broke the story. Welcome, Mayor. Come on in and put your foot right there at that right on the mark. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we were supposed to have you the other week in the
Yeah,
snowstorm.
yeah,
You know, we have a little respite here for a little bit. But you go back and forth between Fall River and Providence. It's close enough. And one of the things that we wanted you in for was that you just launched the new brand campaign for Fall River. Oh, you've got the pins on. Did you bring extra pins?
I think I could get you an extra one.
Well, then then I get extra special treatment going in places. You know, so you might not be careful with that. So the Make It Here brand campaign for Fall River, it's on Go Local site if you search for it with Go Local, and you can see the video and a little bit that you had made some quotes at the time. But really wanted to talk with you as a young mayor, the thoughts behind we need to rebrand Fall River, and then how you went about the process. And you know, we also compared the rebrand effort here that we had kind of gone through with that they're revamping for the Rhode Island Tourism Campaign. Talk to us about the process from sort of that, I need to rebrand, we need to rebrand, and literally how you went about doing it.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So, you know, I took office about a year ago, a little over a year now, and the city's slogan prior to me taking office was "We'll try."
We'll try.
We'll try.
We'll try.
Well,
not a bad one.
Not bad, but we want to also succeed, right? And we want the world to know that you can make it here. So the slogan actually developed naturally through the process. But basically, what we did is we decided to put together about $100,000, which we expended about $70,000 on actually the creation of the brand, and did an RFP process, request for proposal, secured the services of a Rhode Island company, EGN, and we really believe that our partnership should be with the entire region, not just Fall River, but going into Rhode Island, going into Providence specifically. We are so close. I can see Providence. I can see the Superman building from my office.
Can you really?
Yes, from my office I can see the Superman building. So that's how close we are.
Can you take a picture and send it to us?
Yeah, I can do that. I have to zoom in, but yeah, that's absolutely. So we believe that there's a really nice connection between Providence and Fall River. I myself went to Providence College. A lot of people go out in Providence, go to great restaurants here. A lot of people from Providence come to Fall River for our great restaurants. So there was some nice synergy there. So EGN came in with Figments, also a Rhode Island company, to do some of the visual design stuff. And they got to work. And the process was pretty extensive. Basically, we went to all kinds of people in the community, nonprofits, the Boys and Girls Club, businesses, restaurant owners, students, teachers, people on the streets, people at their homes, city hall people. And the brand kind of just grew from it naturally. Time and time again, people would say, either I've made it here with my family, or my family, for example, or in the rest of this country. They moved to Fall River to make products. They made products in old mills back in the day. We're a mill town. Or people have made it here. They've made their lives here. So that was really a theme that just kept coming up and up and up. And when you think about the amazing products that are still manufactured in Fall River, from Vance and Leathers, and they do some work with the great Rhode Island companies. I know they work with, different, I don't know all the ones off the top of my head, but some different Rhode Island companies. Matuk in our industrial park makes great linens and different products. Portugalia makes unbelievable foods and specialty baskets and all this kind of stuff. And then you have restaurants that make great food. It just made sense. It made a lot of sense that anybody can make it here. So it comes down to three things, which I think are really great and amazing for the city of Fall River. First, it's make it here as a destination. So like your GPS tells you, hey, you've arrived at your destination. We believe Fall River is a great destination for you to arrive at. So you can make it to our community. You can go to the Battleship, which is one of the largest World War II collections of ships, actual ships that you can go on and explore different parts of the ship. You've got the Lizzie Borden House, which is fabled in all kinds of paranormal activity, of course, which is a bed and breakfast.
Have you seen any ghosts there?
I have, I've been in there a couple times, and I haven't seen any ghosts myself, but there's definitely some sounds and things where you're like,
feel a little spooked?
What's going on? What's going on here? And then you have the historic Highlands. I mean, as you approach Fall River from Providence, you look to the left, you look to the right, and it's just a beautiful city. With the different steeples and smokestacks that line our city. And we're on the Taunton River. We have one of the most beautiful waterfronts of any city in Massachusetts. And if you lead down the Taunton River, you go all the way to Newport. So we're pretty close. I mean, we're border Tiverton, Rhode Island. And we've got the casino that's coming up, and that's been kind of an interesting topic in the city.
Yeah.
But we're surrounded by Rhode Island. So we really want to continue to build that partnership and that relationship. We're a little bit cheaper to live in Fall River than Rhode Island. So, and we've got really great properties. So that was really important that it was a destination. Second, make it here as a product. Amazing businesses that make so many great things in Fall River. And we wanted businesses and people to know that you can make something in Fall River, make it, whatever that it is, whether it's a shirt, whether it's jewelry, whether it's food products, you can make those products in Fall River. We secured Amazon, which doesn't necessarily make a product, but again, it's really the business atmosphere that we're trying to promote, that you can make it here as a business as well, which is really important. And then finally, make it here is make your life here. Make something of yourself here. I've made something of myself in Fall River. I'm a Fall River boy, born and raised, and I made something of myself. And there have been generation after generation after generation that have made their lives in Fall River. Look, every city has negativity. Every city has problems and challenges, from crime to drug abuse. Those are city challenges. Those are national challenges. But Fall River has so many great things to offer that we weren't telling our story. And what I tell people is, hey, if you don't tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it for you, and you may not like what they have to say.
Yeah.
So this was really about telling our story that you can make it here in Fall River, and that's how it kind of grew out of the efforts of the branding committee, who went out there and scoured the city and got, I don't even know how many hundreds of interviews they did, but it really was pretty cool to see.
It was a great video, and I did want to hark back to one of the things that you mentioned before, Amazon. Just talk with us about what impact that has had
that's
on the
huge.
city.
I mean, Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world. So for them to have a presence in Fall River, not only a presence, but one of the largest distribution facilities on the East Coast. It's a 1.2 million square foot building in our biotechnology park. It employs, and this is what's very interesting, it started off when I was on the city council, started with 1,000 jobs, then it was downgraded to 500 jobs, then it was upgraded to 1,300 jobs, and now they're at 1,800 full-time jobs, which is unbelievable. Great benefits, the people are happy. It's quite a building, it's unbelievable, and they're shipping like 90,000 products like every hour out of that facility. So it's really an amazing building, and we're very, very proud of the partnership. And they've been great with our community. They've been great with donations. They've been great with kids. They've been just an amazing company. And they're going to continue to expand. So they're a big win for us. 1,800 jobs is no joke. That's a lot of jobs.
That is a big win. So are you in talks with other national level companies saying, the stakes in the ground, Amazon is here?
Yeah, so I think that, with our administration, I'm a young guy, but I think we've built a really good team, and we go to work every day really excited about the city of Fall River and the real change that we can make. So we have a theme of 2016 this past year, which was back to basics. We had to get everything back to basics, whether it was the city finances, which we did pretty successfully. We went from $300,000 to $5 million in stabilization money in 1 year, which is pretty amazing. I don't think there's another city in the state of Massachusetts.
And how did you do that?
We did zero-based budgeting. We brought in a new financial team, trimmed down every budget back to zero, and built brand new budgets, which had never been done. So if you think about a 30-year, 40-year run of different budgets just increasing every year, or decreasing some years and increasing again, you really don't know where you're spending money. So we brought in a great financial team. Mary Zahadi is the lead of our team, and we cleaned up the city budget. And we actually found $3.2 million through that process, which is unbelievable.
Where did you find this?
Oh, through all kinds of different different departments, different parts of the city that the FAT, the so-called FAT in city budgets. There was a little bit there, and we took care of that. So we had to go back to basics with the brand, with the city finances, with privatization of trash collection, which had never been done. Some issues with our union and different things, but we got all that done. In 2017 is really a future foundation. Is really what we're trying to build a foundation for many, many future generations of Fall River. And I'm not in this for just to be mayor. I'm in it to get something done, and I think that's what we're doing. So we're really excited about that.
So obviously you're helping existing businesses thrive and grow there. Who would be a dream business if you could bring to Fall River?
A dream business? All right. So we're looking at doing a fiber optics network, which would be one of the first ones in the region for the entire city.
Okay.
So we're very excited about that. So bringing in, I tweeted at Google fiber. They did Kansas City. They did a couple. I did that a few months ago. Got a little bit of a response from them, but another company is actually interested in doing some fiber network in Fall River that we just recently met with. So we're excited about that.
Excellent. Okay, so there could be another player in the conversation here that might be someone that you might be looking to work with.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like, the fiber optic network in the city?
Fiber optics would change. Basically, all homes would be provided with the option of having a fiber connection, which would take it from, the average home probably gets 50 megabyte download, upload speeds. This would take it all the way to 1,000 megabytes per second, which is incredible. And then the city would be totally connected. So smart city, every street light, trash cans, whatever you can imagine would be connected to our city government. So we're really excited about that possibility, and it looks like that's going to go forward. So not only, and this is the kind of stuff that are game-changing things. You need to be a game changer, especially today. Cities are very clunky. right? City government's very clunky. I'm a young guy again. I brought a very, very fresh look at the city government, and you don't want to be clunky. So we got to modernize, and that's what we've been doing slowly but surely. So in order to become a fiber optic city, I mean, that opens the doors to so many different things. So you're talking huge amounts of speed, more than anything you can imagine right now that exists in our region. That's going to attract some national companies, right? That's going to attract UMass Dartmouth to expand some campuses in Fall River. That's going to expand our community college that we have in Fall River. That's going to get a startup culture that we already kind of have. Mm-hmm. It's going to kind of increase that. And we have kind of a goal. You don't want to be something you're not, and that's really important. But what Fall River is and has always been good at is textiles. And there's this whole area of a market right now of technology and textiles coming together. So shirts that tell your body temperature or sweat temperature, whatever, socks that help with diabetes. This is really interesting, and it's something that's a growing industry, and it's probably going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry one day. Fall River is the place to be. In fact, I would love for RISD to connect with some of Fall River. We've got the textile people, we've got the people that can sew and make all these great products. We need some of the design people from RISD, and we're working with MIT to get some of that technology, and that's a great synergy, and that can happen right in Fall River.
Okay, RISD, hope you're listening here. The mayor wants to get a good partnership going.
We want you in Fall River, so we're very excited about that. And there's some great opportunities in the city, but that tech and textile market is really cool, and that's the next big thing. And if we're at the forefront of that, and we're making strategic investments in fiber optics, in workforce training, people today don't think about, okay, are we still training people to sew? Well, that's happening in Fall River. That's actively happening, and it's a market that I think is really big for us still.
And one of the things we talked about, Mayor, before you came on here was the fact that you're in Providence. You're going back to Fall River. Sure. You're coming back to Providence. Yeah. I mean, 2025? How fast are you going in the official car? I'm not going to ask you how quickly.
The speed limit, of course.
But again, as you said, that you can see the Superman building, and I'm waiting for this picture. I can't wait to get the picture from the mayor to say.
What's great about Fall River is, you have a couple cities and towns in between. Actually, I think they're all towns in between, right? Between Fall River and Providence. But, Fall River is the next, I would say, city probably closest to Providence in Massachusetts. And I'm always telling our governor, every time I meet with our governor and our lieutenant governor, I tell them, look, Fall River has the unique ability to bring money into the state of Massachusetts from Rhode Island, and the same, and the opposite is true too. I know a lot of people, myself included, that come to wonderful restaurants in Providence. I spend a lot of money in Providence. A lot of people in Fall River do the same. A lot of people in Providence come to Fall River. We've got great restaurants, great Portuguese restaurants, great different cuisine, and the housing market is very unique in Fall River. We are seeing an explosion of beautiful market rate loft apartments. We've got 66 mills.
Yes, you have a
lot
of mill space.
Yeah, they're starting to be converted. So you'll see things like you see at the Promenade or the Foundry. You're going to see a lot of that happen in Fall River, but at a much more affordable rate, but still with all the amenities that you get in a city like Providence. So we're really excited about that opportunity, and we also are a little bit closer to Boston than Providence is too. So we are in a perfect location. I always tell people, location, location, location. Fall River is perfect, and it's just naturally happened that way, and we really are a great place to be.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but you talk about the food, and I'm sure folks ask you all the time, where are your favorite places to go out in Fall River?
All right, so there's a restaurant called Sogs. Sogs is on Columbia Street, which is a very Portuguese neighborhood. It's actually where I grew up. I grew up right up the street from it. And there's also another one on the same street called Cinderella. Those two you have to try.
Sogs and Cinderella. You got it from the mayor's mouth.
You have to try them. The food there is just phenomenal. You can go for lunch. You can go for dinner. The best Portuguese food. I mean, there's so many. You have the Clipper. You have TA, you have Terra Nostra. Those are all Portuguese restaurants, and that's just Portuguese. Never mind the other categories of restaurants that exist in Fall River. But you got to try a few of those places. They really are outstanding. It's just delicious. I mean, you're going to be in for a treat. Really, seriously.
Well, that's great. So bookmark all these places that the mayor has. And where do you like to come when you come to Providence?
I go to
you haven't gone to PC. You come to Providence a lot.
Oh yeah, no. I went to Providence College, but I love just even the area we're in right here. The G, what's the rooftop here is pretty cool.
Rooftop at
Actually,
the
this
G.
place, Congress, is delicious. They've got these flatbread pizzas. Is that what it's called?
Flatbread pizza,
pizzas? Yeah, delicious. Obviously, the Hill is good. Cav, great restaurant. So
you were there recently?
I was.
Yes.
I was there last night, yes. So very good places, and just a great city. It's a sister city. It really is. It's so close. And we need to continue to build that partnership and relationship for both cities to succeed.
So talking about the fiber optic network,
Sure.
Talking with other employers looking at Fall River, talk to us a little bit more, what's on your agenda, and what are really the challenges facing Fall River? Again, as we mentioned, the connection with Providence on Fall
Sure.
River, a lot of folks might go and might visit. But what would you like folks to know that you're working on as
Yeah.
mayor to try to again move the city forward?
Yeah, so we unveiled earlier this year, and it was funded by our city council, a streetscape plan. So we're upgrading all of our major downtown districts, totally new parking layouts, brick sidewalks, trees, bump outs, park benches, street art, some things that are pretty common in Providence that have not been common in Fall River for a long time, if ever. So we're really excited about that plan. You're going to see that begin shortly in the spring, and that's every major business district. It's a $10 million project, very exciting project. And that was to encourage investment by private business. We've got a lot of great space, and it's cheap space, cheap office space, storefront space. So we're trying to create that art culture, that marketing business culture. That's exciting. That's a really big opportunity for us. But that's something we're investing in heavily, our infrastructure, and then that also ties into the fiber optic network that would blanket the entire city, and we'd be one of the first cities in the region to have a fully fiber optic network, public Wi-Fi, the whole 9 yards, fast public Wi-Fi, none of this stuff that takes like 10 years to open one
Well,
page.
I hope when you have this major announcements
Yeah.
and we can, hopefully something will happen and we can
Sure.
let folks know here.
Absolutely.
Question for you as you do your downtown work. Parking meters.
Yeah.
Use them? Do you use them? Are they going to be part of your plan?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
Parking meters part of, they're very contentious here in Providence.
I've actually heard that, yeah. So parking meters are an essential part of city government in order to deliver, fair parking strategies for different businesses. You don't want somebody parking in front of your business all day that's not going to your business, so the 2-hour limits or the hour limits. Those are all very important parts of a city and business, doing business in a community. And then they're revenue generators too for the cities. There's no question about that. We actually just looked into this actually just recently. We're going to be upgrading and connecting a lot of our meters. So we don't have, for example, credit card meters in Fall River yet. We will soon. But I like the kiosks because it makes the street a little bit more beautiful. I tell people all the time, people deserve to live in a beautiful community. And the city should always be trying to make it more beautiful, whether that's getting rid of parking meters and adding more trees, whether that's doing a bump out so that people have a wider sidewalk to walk on. Those are all really important things that the city has to do strategically over time. But yeah, parking meters are important and they're part of the overall strategy. But there's always this battle. I hate fees. I'm actually one of the only mayors I think that talk about this. I got rid of a fee last year. We're getting rid of more fees this year.
What'd you get rid of?
We got rid of our trash fee. We privatized trash collection and got rid of it. Was a $120 fee on every single household in the city of Fall River, and we eliminated that. I don't think you can find a community in the state of Rhode Island or Massachusetts that eliminated a fee last year for their taxpayers, and that's just the way I like government to be. We should always be fighting for our taxpayers, always reducing the burden on them, if possible, in a sustainable way. You have to have a really good financial team and a good financial policy. And we did that. We did that actually so effectively that Moody's dropped the negative outlook on Fall River under this administration, which is really cool.
Okay.
That was a big win for us. But that's kind of the stuff that I want people to know, that it's a good investment. You should be coming to Fall River. You should be looking for a home in Fall River. There's a home right now on Prospect Street in Fall River that is a restored Victorian. I think it's like 6,000 square feet, 4 or 5 bedrooms, official bedrooms, and then there's the 3rd floor even. Viking stainless in the kitchen. I think it's on the market for $459. Okay, you put that in Providence, it's a $2 million home. And that's right down the street, and our taxes are better than Rhode Island taxes. I know there's a Rhode
Sounds like
Island
you might have your eye on it a little bit.
It's a beautiful home. It's a little bit too big for me. It's a little bit too big for me.
Right now, you're still a young
Yeah.
mayor, and maybe in the future. And
One day.
is Fall River the roots? I mean, you're a very successful politician at a very young age.
Thank you.
Do you see yourself looking at other opportunities in the political arena? And I'm sure folks ask you this. I am not the
Some
first
people have asked me to
person.
come to Providence and run for office in other communities even. But no, you have a great mayor here, and this is a great community. In Fall River, the goal is to really fix the city, is to put the city on a path to success, and that's really what it's about. That's my only goal. I am a young guy, which sometimes people say, oh, well, what can he accomplish, what can't he accomplish? That's fun. It's a fun job because we get to go to work every day saying, okay, we're going to accomplish this goal by this time period, by the budget season, by next year, whatever it may be, and we are doing that every single day. And that's really exciting. I'm not in it to be a politician or to just have a title or whatever it is. Sometimes that can even be stressful. I'm 25 years old. Of a mayor of a major city. It's kind of a unique position to be in. But the opportunity to succeed and the opportunity to change the city is so cool. and that's really what's the best part of the job.
And again, the Make It Here PR branding
Absolutely.
campaign. Talk to us, how was the reception? I mean, you had a huge kickoff, talk, I'm sure, with folks around the state, around the region.
Right,
is it
right.
really sort of taking it out now and shopping it around and letting folks know
That's exactly
elsewhere?
what it is.
Yeah, so what does that look like?
We got to use the brand to our advantage, right? We got to promote it as much as we can. We got to we're looking at maybe doing a pop-up shop in the Providence and Boston market.
Okay.
Of Fall River products, Make It Here, kind of a pop-up
Yeah.
shop would be the name, obviously Make It Here. Using those kind of creative things, I think would be pretty cool for the city to do. That's the next goal. That's really the next step, taking the brand to different markets and showing people what we have to offer. That's kind of the next goal. But the reception has been, I think, overly positive. Of course, there's always negativity, right? There's always people that don't
What
like,
do they say? You can't be all things to all people.
You can't. It's impossible. But I think for the vast majority of people in Fall River, and certainly outside of Fall River, people have been very, very happy. Very
Yes.
happy.
So as I said, you can check it out on our website. We do
Yes.
have the video. It was a great video just a few scant weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's flying by. So appreciate, Mayor, you're coming in today to come to Providence, as we know you're going to go back and come back, and Fall River is so close to Providence.
Definitely.
With a brand new brand. So check it out and go local. Mayor, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks a lot.
Certainly appreciate